Family, welcome back to Things You Don't Learn in School. Today, I want us to journey with Rahab. Rahab, not the Rahab from Jericho, but Rahab today, the modern day Rahab. A 30-year-old woman. She's educated, she works hard, she's respected. But she carries a silent weight, the label of being single at 30. Rahab scrolls through her phone, engagement photos, baby showers, weddings, and suddenly her heart sinks. She feels the sting of comparison. She's not alone. In fact, a 2021 Pew Research report shows that 47% of adults believe women face more pressure than men to marry before a certain age. Dr. Marcia Inhorn from Yale, in her book America Unwed, published in 2023, describes this as the double burden of reproductive anxiety and social scrutiny. Family, maybe you've felt that same clock ticking. Rahab sometimes battles loneliness too. Studies published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships 2020 confirms that single women in their 30s report higher social isolation scores compared to their married peers. But even before science, scripture already gave an answer. In Isaiah chapter 54, verse 5, it says, "For your maker is your husband, the Lord Almighty is his name." God does not define Rahab by her relationship status, but by his covenant with her. Now here's the question Rahab whispers at night. Should I lower my standards? Should I just settle? But hear me, standards will not bend to meet us, we rise to meet them. Proverbs 31:10 says, "A virtuous woman who can find, for her worth is more than rubies." Rubies don't roll in the dust. They remain rare, and so must Rahab. So how does Rahab rise? How does she rebrand herself at 30 without desperation, but with dignity? Number one, she strengthens her body and mind. Research from Harvard Health 2022 proves that just 150 minutes of exercise a week reduces stress and boosts confidence. For Rahab, that means jogging in the morning and lifting weights twice a week. That will make her feel sharper, lighter, and stronger. Number two, Rahab needs to invest in her skills. The LinkedIn Global Skills Report, published in 2023, shows that continuous learning boosts employability by 50%. So Rahab needs to take a financial literacy course online, and suddenly she's not just waiting to be provided for, she's creating her own stability. Number three, Rahab needs to guard her spirit. Paul reminds us in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." She has to choose the friends who lift her, not drag her down, and sisters who sharpen her and not weaken her. Number five, Rahab needs to own her story. Shame thrives in silence. As Brene Brown wrote in The Gifts of Imperfection, published in 2010, shame loses power when it is spoken. Rahab learns to speak her truth. She tells her story not as a victim of time, but as a woman on God's path, which is a good question, which poses a good question that I ought to ask is, are you a victim of time or are you in God's path? Those are two different things. And the turnaround, by Rahab rebranding herself and not just sitting to wait for marriage, she begins to focus on thriving in her purpose. She proves that being single at 30 is not a curse, it's a calling season. And when the right man comes, he won't find a desperate woman, he'll meet a woman of standard. So family, if you're Rahab today, I need you to hear this. God has not forgotten you, and you are not a waste. The clock of heaven is never late. The clock of man is always late or is always early, but God's timing is the best. But until then, Rahab, don't bend. Don't bend at all. It's time for you to rise. Rise to the standard, live above the pressure, and walk in strength and in power. So, family, if you've liked this content, if it has spoken to you, hit the like button, subscribe so that, and hit the notification bell so that anytime I upload, you get notified. And I'll be sharing content at least 3 times every week. So ensure to check them out so that we may grow together, because these are things you'll never learn in school. Have a good day.